Okay, so I'm going to take a few minutes and talk about this GeoGebra program and how to make a construction. So here are the tools that are given to you in GeoGebra for your constructions. There's a move tool, looks like an arrow, and you use that to select something and move it around. You can also select something and hit the delete key to delete it. Segment, you use to draw segments. The line tool for drawing lines. Intersect for putting a point on an intersection. And circle with center and radius, which allows you to draw a circle with a given center and a given radius. And also, there's a steps tab where you can click there and it'll tell you all the steps that you've done. And you can close this menu right here, and then you can select either your tools or your steps. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to draw a segment first. Click on the segment tool, and then I'm going to click to make a point, drag to make another point. And notice how the points are labeled automatically, alphabetically in the order that they're drawn. So the next point would be C and D and so forth. Okay, so there's a segment. And if I wanted to adjust a segment, I could get my move tool, click on a point, and then move it around however I want to. Okay, and notice on the steps, when I drew my segment, it made point A, point B, and segment AB. Okay, so let me get my drawing tools back here. Okay, now let's say I want to delete this segment. I could get my move tool, and I'll click on point B, press delete, and that leaves point A, and then delete again. Okay, now to draw a line, I'll use my line tool. I'll just click to make a point and then continue to drag, and then notice the arrow moving. That's going to be where my other point is. So that's line AB. And if I look at my steps, it says point A, point B, and line AB. Okay, so what if I want to do an intersection? Well, let me draw a segment. Okay, that's segment CD. I just click and drag to draw that. If I want to do a point at an intersection, I click on my intersect tool. Then I need to click right on the intersection and see it makes point E. Notice it's a different color, which is how I know it's an intersect point. Okay, now the circle with center and radius is the most important tool in constructions because remember that a circle is used to measure distance by the radius. So to draw a circle, I click and drag with the circle tool, and then it's made my circle. And if I go to my steps, you can see there are several steps on here now. The one I'm looking at is circle with center and radius. So center F and the radius is 1.8. If I want to edit the circle, let's say I want to make it 2 exactly. So circle F, radius 2. Okay, that's how it works. So that's where the power really is. If I want to measure something the same distance again using a different arc or a different circle, so I get my circle tool, and this will be circle G, and I'm going to eyeball it, try and get it the same size as circle F, but usually you can't get it 100%. So let's go, oh, this one I actually got right. But let's say if I wanted to make it 2.5, I would go in here and make it 2.5. And then I could do the same with point F if I wanted to, 2.5. Okay, and also, if you get the move tool, you can move these circles around a little bit. See, like that. So the key point here is that when you're using the circle with radius tool, this radius measures the distance. And you want to make sure that you have, if you're measuring the same distances, you want to make sure that you have circles with the same radii each time. So you have to go in and change each radius probably after you draw the circle. Make sure they're the same. Okay, so here I'll give you an example. I'm going to do a partial construction here. And let's say I want to have a certain measurement from point A. So I'll draw a circle like that. Okay. And let's look at the steps. So it's centered at A, radius 2.8. Okay, so if I wanted to do another circle at B, I would do the same thing. Get my tools. I could just draw a circle like that. Then go to my steps. Circle B. This one's 2.6. I want it to be 2.8. So I'll just change to 2.8 there and click outside. And then I have two circles that are the exact same size. And then from there, I would use my intersect to create points C and D here on those intersections. And then if I want to draw a line through C and D, I would get my line tool, click on point C, then click again on point D. Okay, so those are the basic steps for making constructions. You have your move tool, your segment tool, your line tool, your intersect tool, and your circle with center and radius tool. Oh, and also there is an undo button here. It can be very helpful. See, I can undo all that very quickly and redo. Also, there are settings here. And generally, you don't need to adjust these. I mean, you don't need to show your axis or grid or anything like that. So usually you don't need to mess with those. Okay, so that should cover the basics on how to use this GeoGebra for constructions and all the tools that you need. So if you have any specific questions, of course, you can message your teacher, but I'm hoping this will be enough to get you started.